Today we're going to talk about focused note-taking and the 5 steps to success. The purpose of this is to demonstrate your understanding of the 5 phases of the focused note-taking process. Slide 2. Avid's focused note-taking process embodies research-based best practices for note-taking and using notes for learning and other applications. The 5 stages in this process apply to a number of formats for notes and work of people of all ages of note-takers. First, taking notes. Second, processing your notes. Third, connecting your thinking. Fourth, summarizing and reflecting on your learning. And fifth, applying your learning. Using these guiding principles, it helps students put in a wicker in their notes. The focused note-taking process must be explicitly taught. This is why you're watching this video and listening to this right now. You can't just automatically know how to take notes. For learning to occur more effectively, learners must revisit their notes multiple times in a variety of ways. When you take notes, it's not just to take notes, just to take them. It is to go back and to learn the information. Every phase of focused note-taking involves inquiry. We all love inquiry. Learners must constantly ask questions of themselves, their notes, and content. It is pointless to take notes if you're not going to think about the content that you're writing down. Phase 1, taking notes. You must first establish a purpose and objective for taking notes. You need to write the essential question at the top because it will help guide your note-taking. Now, if your teacher does not give you an essential question, you are responsible for making one up. Sometimes the teacher's just testing you to see if you can create your own question. If you're not sure at first, it's okay to go ahead and take all the notes, then go back and create your own question based on what they've done. Your summary at the bottom should answer that question up at the top, and every note that you take should be related to that essential question at the top. Next, select the best formats for your notes. We all learn in a variety of ways. If Cornell notes are not the best way to take notes for whatever it is that you're taking notes on, use a different type. Use 2-column, 3-column, whatever it is. You need to learn to use a variety of formats for different purposes. That's on you. You need to write notes based on your sources. So you need to select information. You need to paraphrase and arrange the information thoughtfully. You cannot just copy down sentence after sentence after sentence in your notes. You need to read it, think about it, rewrite it in your own words, or arrange it in a chronological order or whatever order makes sense to you. Slide 5, taking notes formats. There are lots of different types of formats that you can do with your notes. You can use different forms or varieties based on your purpose. Cornell Notes provide space in the right column for taking notes, a column for connecting thinking, and a place for a summary reflection at the end of the class. 2 or 3 column notes are structured methods of taking notes by designing columns to meet the note-taking objective. For example, you might do a 2-column note for pros and cons of something. Columns often include space for input from the source to take notes, and then space to use for examples, write questions, and connect your learning in lots of different ways. Mind maps, sometimes called webs, are free-form graphic organizers in which notes are arranged spatially on a page. This visual method of note-taking allows learners to easily show the relative importance of information and the interrelationships between ideas. Sketch notes and one-pagers are other forms used as visual notes. Graphic organizers are structured in ways to show connections among ideas. Venn diagrams can show comparisons and contrasts. Flowcharts can demonstrate cause and effect or outline to a process of procedures. An interactive notebook is a living archive of students' learning. You set it up whatever way your teacher wants you to. Usually one page is for teacher input and the other page is for student output. It's up to the teacher. Slide 6. Learners should return to their notes within a day to review and revise them. During this phase, students thoughtfully revisit their notes to clarify and organize their notes further, making them as complete and useful as possible. So thinking about processing your notes in phase 2, that involves thinking about your notes. Like I said before, it's not just about writing notes just to write notes. This should be done within 24 hours. This provides you with opportunities to collaborate. Call your friends that are in the same class. Get together at lunch. Share notes. Make sure you got all the important information. This will get messy. If you revise your notes should be messy. And I don't mean handwriting messy. I mean circling things, highlighting things, underlining things, starring things messy. And you need to focus on clarifying content and organization. You need to make sure you understand those notes. And if you don't, that's on you. Slide 7, we're still in the processing notes phase. As learners revise their notes, the notes themselves may get a little messy, like I mentioned earlier, which might be an indication that some thoughtful interaction is occurring. Processing notes involves identifying the most important information, sorting through the content, clarifying what's there, and identifying the organizational schema within the notes. Now, when you're revising your notes, you need to be underlining, highlighting, circling, asking questions if you don't understand something, put a big question mark there. You can cross out things to delete. You can use the little caret to add things. You need to be classifying, organizing, and chunking. You can draw lines across it. And make sure you get those main ideas down. And underneath of it, using bullet points, moving over to the right a little bit, you're putting in less important details. Now, when you're identifying the main idea and supporting details, you need to be selecting, sorting, classifying, and organizing that information. Slide 8, Phase 3, Connecting Thinking. Connecting Thinking asks learners to use inquiry to think beyond the notes. Rather than adding lower-level recall questions and teacher-provided examples, curious learners can deepen their understanding by asking wonderment questions. These basically boil down to Level 2 and Level 3 Costas questions. So, you need to think beyond the notes. You need to ask questions about your notes. Wonderment questions are things like comprehension, prediction, detection, application, planning, and strategy. All of this is within Costas. Next, you need to add your own original thinking. It's not all just about what's in the text or whatever it is that you're taking notes on. Make connections. What do you already know? Use context outside of the class to form your own opinions, your life or the world around you, and make sure that you're taking notes for that purpose. Slide 9, Phase 3, Connecting Learning. Now that you've written your notes, you must return to your notes and go back and use an eye of inquiry. That means be ready to ask questions. Learning makes sense when it's connected to what we already know, what we've already experienced, and how we can use it. Learners should ask questions that they really want to find answers to and truly want to discuss. If you're asking yourself questions that you already know the answers to, it's a huge waste of your time. Slide 10, Phase 4, Summarizing and Reflecting on Learning. In the fourth phase of focused note-taking, students summarize and reflect on the learning from the notes. Summarizing is crucial to student understanding of a source because it requires learners to sift through the information, sort out the big ideas from the less significant details, consider how the pieces all fit together, and communicate the big idea in several sentences. Adding a reflective element to the formal closure of note-taking process helps students identify the notes that will be useful to them. The note taker once again considers the note-taking objective, which is also your essential question, and engages them in metacognitive reflection about the notes they just took. This helps you answer the question, where do I go from here? Think about your notes as a whole. Be sure to summarize. What have I learned? Capture the most important aspects of your notes. Answer that essential question. And last, reflect. How will this be useful? Consider how the learning helps you meet the note-taking objective. Plan where you go from here. Slide 11, Phase 5, Applying Learning. The focused note-taking process is not meaningful unless the notes serve a purpose and help the note-taker achieve that purpose. Otherwise, there's no need to take notes in the first place. Going through the phases of the focused note-taking process prepares students to apply their learning. Often, students try to apply learning without having done the prior work. This makes it difficult to deepen the learning. When students reach the final phase to see the fruits of their labor, the notes have a satisfying "so what" to them. This is when educators can achieve buy-in from you when it's worth it to take notes in the process. So be sure to use the notes for their intended purpose and to demonstrate what you've learned or apply it to a new situation. Now that you've learned about the 5 phases of focused note-taking, it is your turn to practice.